What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Commanders of the Coast podcast. I'm your host, Ben.
I'm your bi-host, Steven.
And I'm your tri-host, Josh.
So we have some amazing news today. Today was actually the start of the C20 spoilers season.
It was.
What do you guys think of it so far?
Woo!
Just a little general.
It is like Christmas, honestly. They done released a lot of things that got me going. Whoop, 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 whoop.
And it came out quick, too. Normally it comes out in August. So we don't really have some time to breathe, But let's get right into it. We're going to actually talk about each of the color pairs that they showed, or each of the decks, because they revealed the face cards, actually. The lead singer, as you will.
Kind of like
what do you guys think of the predictions, first and foremost?
Well, predicting wise, for any of you that were watching and were voting on me, congratulations.
Wait. Did you have the most right?
I did.
I don't think you did.
I did.
I think Ben had the least right.
I had the least.
I had the most. You were right under me by one.
Okay, anyways, that was good. This was good. That was a good conversation. Let's actually just jump into it now because there's no mono white. So,
Kadena. Okay.
The first deck we're going to talk about is the Mardo deck. Mardo, red, black, and white. Steven, can you tell us about this Mardo card? What does it do?
Of course. So this is the card that when it enters the battlefield, you create a token basically for the amount of times that it's been cast from the command zone. I think it's the weakest of the bunch. I think humans also get like +2/+0.
+2/+0.
Yeah, I think it's the weakest of the bunch by far.
You make a 1/1 human for each time you cast this creature. Or
from the command zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of command zones.
Oh, sorry. Let me just want to say something. What's weird about that wording is every time you cast commander, just makes it sound like they're setting up for a partner, doesn't it?
It makes it sound like there's gonna be like some kind of companion that'll be allowed to be a commander.
It just sounds like they're trying to do partner with that wording. What do you think, Steven?
I think it. To me, when I read it, I actually feel like it plays better in the 99 than it would.
It's a solid 99 pick.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, even though I don't know that it'd be solid, there's a lot of cards like this, right? When you look up, like, based on the amount of times that you've cast your commander from the command zone. But I mean, it's just like
you don't want to be casting a 4 mana than a 6 mana.
Exactly.
Let's just look at it this way: you're gonna cast 6 mana to make this creature and 2 1/1s. That's so it just sounds so underwhelming,
Well,
go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so Mark Rosewater, he had said that IKORIA is going to have a lot more human synergy. So I know it looks pretty weak as of right now, but who knows?
Wow, that was very insightful.
Well, here's the thing that I'm gonna counterpoint you. Human is the most seen type in Magic the Gathering. So if you're thinking you need more help, you need more help.
It's exactly why. It's going to be behemoths, it's going to be big monsters, and there's going to be lots of humans. There's going to be a lot more humans synergy strategy because, to your point, a lot of the human decks as of right now, as comparison to all other commander decks that are out there, are a little bit underwhelming. So hopefully this can really put us on the map now.
But humans did get a good card, like Outlaw's Merriment in Throne of Eldraine, the one that makes a bunch of you can choose.
Makes a token, a random token at the beginning of your upkeep.
Exactly, like that. I mean, there already was strength in it. I mean, I guess if you used something like Outlaw's Merriment with her, and she's hitting now, has these tokens hitting for 5 per turn, that would eventually add up. I guess I just don't think it's that exciting.
The thing is,
that's fair.
Definitely an aggro deck, or tries to be an aggro deck, right? Or at least that's the archetype is. But then there's just so much better choices like Edgar Markov and those guys.
Ooh, I knew you're gonna bring that one up.
Yeah, I think if you want to go aggro, might as well just go with that.
Yeah, we're hitting our 3 minutes, boys. So let's move on to the next one.
All right,
humans. Human.
Do you have Callum X, the Stormsire?
Oh man. So, man, I have been tinkering around with dinosaurs, and this doesn't fit the bill at all for dinosaurs for me, but I think it's really cool that we now have the opportunity to have a spell slinging, thick dinosaur dude. Now, the biggest thing that comes to my mind when this happens is an archetype I've been wanting to kind of make work, and this kind of fits the bill for potentially vehicles.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying. There's no real like solid vehicle commander, but I feel as though this may put this onto the map.
Well, there are vehicle commanders, it's just not good, is what you're saying.
They suck.
Yeah.
Well, the only one it is, that only good one, I think, or the only one that actually has support is Boros. And that's probably the reason why.
Yeah.
But you're missing white here. Is that fine with you?
I mean, I don't need the Parhelion, even though it's the
Okay.
best vehicle. But
So I saw this differently. I saw this as, I mean, and because of my playstyle, right? But I thought you throw down a young pyromancer, you throw down Risen Reef, and then you just start counterspelling. Yeah, you just counterspell every turn because
you are the devil.
I mean, think about it, right? As long as you're swinging Callum X, each turn you're able to, because it's just like Kadena, just like one of the other commanders, you're able to generate, copy the spell. So I just think it's a good idea. With young pyromancer, you're creating elementals whenever you're casting an instant. If you have Risen Reef out, right, you're able to search for a land or draw a card. I mean, it seems like a really easy way to get an engine.
You just really like Risen Reef. Let's just.
I love Risen
Reef. Yeah, you do.
Honestly, I love it. I love
say
it.
Let's just admit it. You don't care about anything else but the Risen Reef.
But because here's the thing, I have an elementals deck, right, a 5-color, and I wasn't too excited to put this into it. But I think it's an interesting mechanic. And I think
very
you could
interesting.
Gutter snipe something in there.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Putting a +1 counter is pretty cool too. I think you can go kind of like, I understand the spell slinger portion. Like if you put a primal amulet and all those double copying your spells thing in here, it'd be pretty good. I think red and blue obviously is very notorious for spell slinger.
Oh yeah.
But now that they add green, now they could actually ramp into their spells. That's insane. And even then you can copy if you copy an explosive vegetation, you're not going to be mad. And it's not at any cost other than, well, you could swing your commander, but that's always that could be bad just in case someone wants to block it and potentially kill it, right?
Yeah.
But another way to do it is there's a lot of cards that say tap a creature to do something. So maybe you could convoke. Improvise even, I think that's only artifacts. Well, you could also do like Cryptolith Rite, which is an enchantment where you basically tap a creature and then you get mana. So if you tap this creature for mana, like so you tap it for blue mana, now it's tapped, and then you just play opt for that blue mana. You technically got a free spell, without using your land. So it's really strong in that sense. And we also forget that you put a +1 counter on a creature after this.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you do like a +1 counter theme with instants and sorceries that give +1 counter, so you double that with a doubling season and a hardened scales and
disgusting
primal vigor, so there's just a lot of interesting. That's a crazy thing about this deck is we came up with 3 different archetypes basically.
Yeah.
And Teamer, go ahead, Steven.
Well, before we move to the next one, I will say Narset's Reversal into a Narset's Reversal. Just all right. Sorry.
Well, you get your storm count up, I guess.
Yeah. We're hitting time on this one, guys.
Okay. So let's go on to the Abzan one, which is white, blue, green. It's Cathril, Aspect Warper. It's a nightmare insect. And like I said, it's white, blue, green, it's Abzan. So with this one, let me start off. With this one, is it black? Yeah. I said blue, huh?
Yeah.
White, black, green.
Okay,
so with this one, with insects, blue and black and green is kind of like the colors for it, and white would be the because this creature actually takes keywords, right? It takes keywords from creatures in your graveyard, but do you have to exile them?
No. It's just, as long as, in fact, once they're in your graveyard, it looks like that triggers it. So even if someone exiles it, it'll be okay. Yeah.
I thought, that's what I was wondering because we just had Rayami. Like, Rayami is the name? The vampire.
I think it didn't really work out well for him, so this is the upgrade.
That's the thing, is the exiling portion. I think that's where they kind of... And the thing is, Rayami didn't have white, and let's be real, in terms of keyword soup, white has the most. Like, if you just imagine putting a Zatalfa in your graveyard, right? That's indestructible, flying, vigilance, double strike. lifelink maybe, but it has all those things. So that's pretty much what the deck tried to do. But it also gives a +1 counter, which is I think kind of like out of place. Like I don't think they needed to do that.
No, it's cool, man. It's for the Voltron effect. You know, anytime let's say you're trying to go Voltron on Cathril, right? Let's say it enters the battlefield, you got a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, you got a flying counter, you added this counter, you added this counter, and now for each of those counters you're also adding a +1, +1, +1, +1.
Yeah.
This can just be a one-hit wonder.
Okay. But does his ability only trigger when he ETBs?
Only when he ETBs.
That's the issue there.
But it doesn't go away though.
It doesn't.
It stays on.
So it's kind of like
it stays on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, here's the thing. So, but one good, like, you know, one Aether Snap, and then it removes all counters. So
yeah, or like if you run a Solemnity where you can't put counters on.
That's fun.
So what I was thinking for this one, if you got like I was just looking earlier into different cards that would work with this, and if you put like Abzan Ascendancy, right, it gives +1 and +1 to each creature, and whenever a non-token creature dies, you get a 1/1 spirit. If you compare, you combine this guy with like Yahenni, right? You get a free sack outlet. Now you're getting a spirit token just to replace the creature. But now whatever creature you're sacking, if it's flying, lifelink, haste, whatever, you can throw that onto Yahenni, right? Or throw it onto whomever, and then you just have this ridiculous vampire that's never gonna die.
Yeah, creatures with like inherent indestructible or like hexproof or something are probably the best ones to put it on.
Yeah, well, and also there's that white card, Audric. What I didn't even know about this till this morning.
Audric is basically the same thing.
Yeah, that would make this ridiculous. That would make this ridiculous. That'd be like you'd have to get rid of that. You'd have to counter it. So
that's what I'm saying. That's why they included the white.
Yeah,
this one seems strong.
I would go Insect Tribal.
Yeah, I think this actually is one of the stronger ones.
I would just straight up Voltron, man. Just.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is what's bad about it. Okay, yeah, you need the indestructible creature, but it's just so kind of slow. I feel like it's kind of slow. Because if you say you get a flying counter on a creature, that's what you got, just flying. Once you kill that creature, you lose. You don't have that counter anymore. It was on the creature.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. So then now you have to find another creature you have to ETB again to trigger to give another keyword to another creature. I just feel like it's too slow. Yeah, and it has the ETB, so you can play like flicker effects.
That's what I'm saying. Voltron, you know, keep it on him. Focus on the commander and not the other cards around you. Just self-mill or self-dredge, whatever the word is.
Well, I remember, he can always put it on himself, too. It doesn't say another creature.
Yeah, that's what Josh is saying.
Yeah, the Voltron. Just like, buried alive, throw in the right creatures, and,
Yeah, but, okay, you just need one big creature, then.
Good old...
Yeah, one's a Tulpa. We're running out of time, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one. This is actually going to be Steven. Start us with Gabby. I think that's the name. Gavin?
Yeah, Gabby, Nest Warden. So this is the Jexai one, right?
Oh my goodness. Jessica,
whatever.
It's just a guy.
Dyslexic. The Jessica one. So I think it's cool. I don't play Cycle. I know both of you do. But this is the commander that whenever you draw a second card each turn, I believe you create like a little dinosaur, right?
A 2/2 dinosaur cat.
Yeah.
And the first card you cycle each turn is 0. And this reminds me a lot of Kadena, to be honest, the passive, because it says on each turn. So you get a free cycle each turn, very similar in that aspect. And I think it just, you can come up with some pretty, it sounds like you two already have been, some pretty significant decks. I was just thinking you could, with Decree of Silence. Don't say those things.
Right. You could free counter. Every turn.
Like that.
And then if you used Abandoned Sarcophagus, you can cast cycle cards from your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. And you free counter, and you draw a card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, it's very good value. I would say it's even better value than Kadena. Not that it's relevant here, but
I don't think anything beats that value. It's super CDH.
Downplay Kadena. All right, Josh, go for it.
So I'm thinking, really focusing on the red part. Let's just destroy all the lands. Let's just get free. I'm kidding. Now, it gives you a lot of options because I feel like it's really important to focus on that second card draw. Not so much the cycling, believe it or not. Cycling is nice as it will synergize very well with it.
It will give you the second card draw most of the time.
This is, I feel like, a really good cantrip type of deck, very similar to how the way I play Elsha in terms of like spell slinging, playing a lot of instants on everybody else's turn, just drawing cards. That's personally the way I think is best to do that. Myself personal, but what I'm doing outside my own personal thoughts is, you know, I'm just cycling, just gonna get on that bicycle and just.
Well, they're adding more cycle. Cycle is another mechanic they're keeping.
So I'm excited to see what else they can bring because my last cycle deck was just atrocious. And
this one's better. I think having red makes it so much different than Esper because that's the ones we have. But at the same time, not having black kind of ruins it a bit.
Yeah, the black was always the fun part of it.
Yeah. So like you were saying, focusing on the second card draw. There's a lot of cards from Eldraine that say whenever you draw your second card.
Yeah.
Like there's there's one that deals damage. There's one that puts a +1 counter on that creature if you do it. There's one that makes a rat. There's even an enchantment that makes another fairy.
There's a couple of is it cards that focus on that? Commanders, right?
Yeah. It was is it. The fact that you can do it each turn, kind of like you said, like Kadena, makes it crazy. But the whole thing is they're missing black, or even green, where you could put the cards from your graveyard back on top of your library or your hand. Because you can't do that in these colors. You could do it for artifacts and enchantments, but not many artifacts and enchantment have cycle.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for some 2/2 Beastie Boys. That's what I'm excited for.
They're dinosaur cats, by the way.
Oh, damn. Beastie Boys.
All right, guys, we're over time.
All right.
Okay, so we covered Teamer, that was Jeskai. But the next one, I think Steven likes this one. Sultai. Josh?
They did Sultai? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, just go.
I thought because of Kadena.
Just go.
Oh well. So quite honestly, I feel like there is a lot left to be seen about this commander, as it really synergizes with its mutate. But I think something that we can focus on right now is the whole mutate part of it, where we can mutate it onto a card and then it gains that abilities. The only thing that I'm really thinking of is just putting it onto some nice 1/1 unblockables and just going to town and just boop, 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 you know.
It's funny they mentioned Kadena, so I agree with you. I think we have to wait for a lot of the mutate stuff, but I think that if you put this on something like Volrath, it'd be kind of funny because you could just mutate and then Volrath could pull something entirely different right from the other side of the board.
Change it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it'd be a really interesting mechanic to make him one of the 99 in a Volrath deck. I think it'd be funny, or you know, and it just kind of swing for commander damage. I don't know, but I agree with you. What about you, man?
I mean, he's 6'6" trampler. I mean, that's still big, still a big thick boy.
So the issue with this is, like Josh says, you kind of focus on mutate, and when you do that, this is the only set that ever had mutate, so you don't have that much support. You know, you have to pretty much work with what this set gives you or what IKORIA gives you. But this effect is new. Like, this keyword is new, but the effect is not new. There's the Mimeoplasm was one of the commanders back in like 2013. It basically comes in, you exile 2 creatures, and you choose which keyword to keep or which text to keep and which power and toughness to keep. So this is similar to that, except
we've seen that many times.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like this would be similar to that deck or like a Lazov deck where you don't want the negative effect of the like the downside of the text, but you want the high power and toughness. Like there's a Phyrexian Dreadnought. It's like a 12/12 for 1 mana. But like you have to sack a creature every upkeep, or you have to do something crazy every upkeep. But if you mutate maybe this creature onto that, it'll just be a 12/12 with trample, and every time it deals damage, you put a mutate creature from your graveyard to your hand, which is pretty good. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Just a 12/12, and that was just 1 mana. A lot of people kind of compare mutate to bestow, but
Yeah.
there's like a pretty big difference. Like for example, bestow, the creature becomes an aura, right?
Yep.
And anytime that aura gets unattached, either the creature gets bounced, flickered, killed, that aura then becomes a creature. And the same is true for mutate, except if you cast bestow on a creature and that creature was destroyed, then that aura that you were putting onto it has nothing attached to, and it gets destroyed as well. It doesn't turn into a creature because the effect only happens when it's unattached. While mutate, if this were to happen, you kill someone in response to someone mutating, that creature still comes in as a creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another thing crazy about this that I think is cool is you can pay that mutate cost, and that kind of goes around commander tax. You know, you don't have to add more mana to that, like how Yuriko's Ninjutsu or Derevi, and we know how big of a problem those cards are. Everyone loves Derevi.
Yep, Steven and I definitely do.
Yeah, we do. We're actually running towards the end of our time for the whole class, guys.
All right, so
I think-
final thoughts. I will have to say that these previews are probably the ones I have been most excited for in all of the Precon history so far, at least from when I started playing. I actually am more intrigued by each one, and I feel like if I end up with one over the other, it's not really gonna be like a downside, like the Chronoplasm.
What's your favorite of these, and then favorite, and what do you think the best one's gonna be? Like overall strong, like strength.
Ooh, man.
And why is it Gavi?
It's not Gavi. I think I'm looking more forward to Callum X.
What?
To be honest. It's the whole
think
plus
it's
one
gonna be Gavi.
counters into big thick boy who then can now be a spell slinger when he has green. They're just as we talked about it earlier, how we all came up with 3 different types of ways to build this guy. I just think it's just a really cool card to add to the whole Magic Empire.
Steven?
I think my favorite is the Sultai one, Atrumi. I think that there's a lot there that we still don't know because of a lot of it's contingent on what comes out in IKORIA. And then of course what's in the 99 that they're going to give us.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I think it'll be really fun to play, and that's the one I'm gunning for. The strongest one I think is definitely Gavi. I think it's Gavi. Like
the strongest.
Yeah.
The strongest and my favorite one is the Mardo one. So
You're such a liar.
I think it's probably Gavi is my favorite. Is it the strongest one? Maybe. I think it's between Callum X and Gavi for sure, though.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree on, I agree. Callum X or Gavi.
Real quick, I don't know which is correct, but I was reading somewhere online conflicting stuff about the commander tax that it does increase the mutate cost.
Really?
One of the Magic people said that, so that makes Atrumi weaker. I was under the impression that it did. So if that's the case, I think it's a little weaker because of it. But I
could see it being okay.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that wraps up this episode. I mean, we had a lot of spoilers, and the crazy part is we still have like 3 commanders per set.
All right, guys. Well, that will wrap it up for us. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all again in the next episode.